is currently a week before Valentine's Day, and I am on my way to a store to hopefully get Fiancé-san's Valentine's Day present. I'm saying hopefully because it was a vintage collectible that we found over the weekend, and there was only one in stock, and he really wanted to buy it, but he decided to save his money and he decided not to buy it. But then later on in the weekend, I actually saw him looking it up online and like looking around at eBay. I am currently walking to the store, and there's no station near the store. So it's gonna take me about 30 minutes to get there and then about an hour to get home. If they don't have it, then I have just walked an hour and a half for nothing, but it's fine because if they do have it, then it'll be amazing. So we'll see. This store is like a dedication to American pop culture. I feel like it can best be described as organized chaos. There's a ton of merch for all sorts of characters, and they have some vintage stuff mixed in with the newer goods. We can always find something new in here every time we visit, so it's a really fun place to look around. And they still had the collectible I was after. Valentine's Day is a little different here in Japan. Instead of being a date night or a mutual exchange of gifts, girls and women give the guys in their lives gifts. Usually they give chocolates or some kind of sweets, often homemade ones, but it's also quite common to buy boxes of chocolates like these. It's the Friday before Valentine's Day now, and it's a national holiday, so we have a little road trip planned. Fiancé-san made these delicious breakfast sandwiches to start off our day trip. We are headed to Shoe-cream. We're gonna drive 3 hours for cream puffs. Valentine's Day date day. I love driving in Japan, baby, because there's like mountains and river. Like driving in Texas is so flat. And like just straight road going.
Yeah, that's true. It's like really hot inside because
So,
there's nothing.
no trees, no.
It was shade.
After a few hours on the road, we arrived in the small town of Hongu, Wakayama. It's a lovely rural town that is home to a beautiful shrine and has some other interesting points that I want to show you. Before entering the shrine though, we decided to explore the main street. We popped into a cafe and then we went into this cute souvenir shop to look around. Then we headed to one of the main attractions of this town. This is the Kumano Hongu Taisha Otori. This giant torii gate is the largest in Japan, and it stands at over 110 feet tall. This gate marks the place of the original shrine, which was actually relocated across the street to higher ground after unfortunately being partially destroyed by a flood in 1889. Even though there's not too much within the torii now, it's still a nice area to walk through. Behind the gates, you can also go down to the river. Many people make cute little stacks of stones here, and this time there was even a little portrait of Doraemon. After spending some time by the river, we went to check out the local heritage center. It's a beautiful and fairly new building and is free to enter. Inside, you can read about the history of the town and the significance of the Kumano pilgrimage. The information is given in both Japanese and English. There were a bunch of soccer balls in the museum as well, and I came to learn that Kumano is considered to be the home of Japanese soccer. I'll link an article about it in the description box if you're interested. Finally, we went across the street to visit the actual shrine itself. One really cool thing about this shrine is that it's wheelchair accessible. Unfortunately, that isn't the case for many shrines I visited, so it was really nice to see here. If you saw my video about visiting Japan's tallest waterfall, you might recognize this three-legged crow. That's because both that shrine and this one are part of the same pilgrimage route. And at this shrine, you can actually send a letter at this cute little post box, and they'll even give you a special stamp to use. Oh, and if you're an anime fan, you may have heard of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The artist and creator of JoJo designed a special omamori, or amulet, exclusively for this shrine, featuring yatagaras. And here's a display of the shrine's chosen kanji of the year. It's a New Year's tradition to choose a kanji to represent the year. This is the character for the word now. It was chosen because it is now that connects the past and future. Now cherish this moment. Now for the reason we actually found out about this cool little town in the first place, this is Shu, a small cafe specializing in shoe pastries, or cream puffs. My friend saw them featured on TV and told me about it since I live in Wakayama. It's a very cute space, but I definitely recommend calling in an order in advance. They sell out incredibly quickly, and unless you're willing to line up early, you likely won't get a cream puff. Thankfully for us, my amazing fiancé called in an order a couple weeks ago, but we wanted to chill in the cafe before we left. They were already sold out of in-cafe puffs by the time we got there, so we decided to split a slice of their cheesecake, and we tried their matcha chai, which I really recommend. We got our to-go order and went on to our final stop for the day. At the back entrance of the shrine and a short walk up the road, you'll actually find this little second-hand bookstore. It doubles as a cafe, but since we had just come from Shu, we simply perused the bookshelves. The owner was very friendly and told us about how beautiful the sky is at night here. Since there's very little light pollution here, you can actually stargaze, and I really want to come back here to see the stars someday. He even had a small English section. I picked up a random English novel and a Japanese copy of Alice in Wonderland for reading practice. Both books cost me just 500 yen. After purchasing my books, it was time to head home. Since we're celebrating Valentine's the Japanese way, I decided to make one of Fiancé-san's favorite meals. This is going to be creamy shrimp risotto. The first step is making the broth, using herbs, veggies, and the shrimp heads and shells. After letting everything simmer for an hour and straining it, we have this really delicious smelling broth. Now I'm just preparing to cook the rice. I actually love making risotto. Combining the broth and rice, it always takes a little bit of patience, but the results are totally worth it. The last couple steps are adding in some lemon zest and juice for acidity, and then a dollop of mascarpone cheese to make it creamy. I served it garnished with a bit more mascarpone, parsley, and a lemon slice, and we paired it with a white wine. And for dessert, we had our chocolate choux cream. These were so incredibly good. I hope you had a nice Valentine's too. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching!